Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
Now, how do I tell if we're actually live or not? Live in 1 minute.
You let people. You ask people if you're live. See, I was. It's terrible.
Live in 59 seconds. It says on Odyssey on my other screen.
So you should be okay. All right. Hi. If we're live. Oh, by the way, hi.
That's right. This is what happens before we go live. All right. Hey, hello, Tom.
Oh, good morning, Rich. How are you? How you been?
Good. I'm good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night wherever you are.
Happy hour somewhere. You know,
happy
all
hour.
That stuff.
That's right. That's right. This is myself.
Unfortunately, it's 9 a.m. where I am, so there's no Irish whiskey in the coffee.
That's right. With Tom Luongo from Gold Goats and Guns, and Tom, when was the first time you came on the channel? When did we first? A couple of years ago or something?
Oh, like 4 years ago, dude. Like,
oh my God, it's amazing.
You reached out to me one day you reached out to me one day and said, would you like to come on? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, at that point, I know it was early enough in the process that I was saying yes to anybody who wanted me to have me on anywhere. So, put that about 4 years ago. I've rarely actually turned people down since then, only if I, am overscheduled, but not because of, well, I mean, there's been a couple of clear, like, hey, why don't you come on my alt-right show so I can destroy you? I'm like, hey, how about you go fuck yourself?
Well, listen, I just got to say, I am grateful that you've come on and then I caught you quick and early because your work is blowing up like crazy. And we'll talk about why and how come, apart from the fact you're a great writer and you're very, very entertaining to listen to, right? And your analysis, as I've learned a lot from you, is spot on. And then for people who are watching, please follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, join my official Telegram announcements channel. Please share this out. I've got the Odyssey live stream on another stream. So if you have any questions or comments, I may look at them, but we're only going to be going for about an hour. And I'm going to have the links to tomluongo.me and his Twitter, and I recommend you go become a patron of his because you get special secret inside info as well. It's a very, very smart group. And once a month, fingers crossed, so far I've been managing doing videos with Tom Luongo and Alexander Mukiris from the Duran, and those are something else. And hopefully we've got one scheduled for a couple of weeks' time, provided everything works for everybody's schedule.
It's usually, it comes down to, does Alex have the time? Because he's, terribly overscheduled.
Yeah, he does so much stuff.
Yeah, he does.
So much stuff, all quality stuff. Okay. All right, Tom. So where do you want to start with?
I think you and I, we discussed beforehand that you wanted to go over the situation in the Bitcoin market as a, let's do a simple, TA read on what's going on in Bitcoin. Now, given what's happened this week with FTX 2.0, I'm sorry, I mean Silicon Valley Bank and Silvergate, you can imagine that the TA situation is not great because we had an end of the week, we had a Friday afternoon, blowout in Bitcoin, but that's fine. It's something we should talk about. So and then we can go on to what we think is going on there. So.
Do you have your charts up? Your Bitcoin?
I do. So if you want to give me the,
you have permission.
Okay, so I don't know what I'm supposed to. Where do I do that? Oh, share screen. There it is. And I want to share that screen. Actually, we'll do this one. Yeah, there you go. So we're going to share that one. So what do you guys see? You should see the investing.com Bitcoin weekly chart.
Yep.
Correct? And nothing else?
Nothing else.
All right, cool. I selected the right window. This is good. I'm getting good at this. All right. So this is the big, weekly chart of Bitcoin. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because we don't need all that other stuff. Because it's clearly we've been in a downtrend since, the beginning of last year, since the end of 2021. That doesn't really matter. So scrolling in, let's look at where we are. What we are actually in, if you, really want to take a longer term view here, it's clear that this is I'm just trying to drawing a line around this whole area going back to June, right? This is a big consolidation area. We've got a double top here at around 25 grand. We've got a bottom here in the low, in the mid 15s, 16s. We've got this insanely low volatility period after the blow up of FTX, which was a moment when if you do the on-chain statistics, or at least, I didn't, but I know people who did. I did a podcast with Chris Sullivan over at Hyperion Decimus, which is a crypto hedge fund. And they, clearly, once FTX blew up, Bitcoin liquidity went to ground, meaning it went on-chain. And then there was no Bitcoin available to play crazy futures games with. So after 8 weeks of that, we got to blow out to the upside because there's no liquidity. And when markets have no liquidity, that's when you get big price moves, right? Because without liquidity, when somebody wants to come in and do a small buy, well, I got news for you. You got to move price. So Bitcoin became an illiquid market at the end of this year, at the end of last year, which is a great thing for Bitcoin bulls because then it immediately pushed the price back out of the teens and into the mid 20s. But the minute we got up to here, which is if you look at the dash line, you can clearly see a double top going back to the last time we got to that level. This is where bears set up and said, okay, you know what? Or the bears set up and said, you know what? I'm shorting here if there's any liquidity to short. And bulls said, you know what? I just made 40%. I think profit taking is the order of the day. But you'll note in this is a very interesting pattern here. We have a 4-bar uptrend and then a 1-bar reversal here, closing below the previous low in the last bar of the uptrend. So this should have been the beginning of a downtrend, but it was immediately reversed by this signal here, where we closed above the high. So we got what I call back-to-back reversal signals, and then we traded sideways for a couple of weeks within the breadth of this bar, and only with the blow up of Silvergate and Silicon Valley Bank and USDC breaking peg did we get a breakdown below this low. I will say this I use these very simple technical analysis rules, which is that 1-bar reversals are very powerful. They are rarely reversed. In this case, they were. So this was a very powerful back-to-back reversal signal because 85% of the time, 1-bar reversals continued the trend. 2-bar reversals continue the trend, so meaning the reversal happens within 2 bars. So this could have been a 2-bar reversal of this bar, happen to hold about 65% of the time. 3-bar reversals, which is what this is, are coin flips, meaning at the end of the day, they 50% of the time they continue the trend, and 50% of the time they reverse themselves. So they confer no net advantage to you from a quantitative standpoint, saying, okay, what are my pot odds of this thing giving me an actionable, tradable edge in the marketplace? It's why the simple reversal system is so very, very powerful. So I look at this and I say, well, this is a 3-bar reversal. Was this all of the energy, bearish energy within the market? If so, then we're going to see a bounce off of this. Now, we could get some follow-through action, but what we're looking for now is whether or not, so look at where we are. We're right here, which is in the midst of all of this schna in here. There is solid support here, and then there's really solid support here. So if Bitcoin gets back below the 20,000 mark, you can expect whatever Bitcoin has been teased back onto the exchanges over the last couple of months in this new bull market will immediately come back off, and volatility will drop off like a rock again, just like we saw here and here. So that's my read on the Bitcoin market at this point. It may drift back down into the 18s, and if it does, well, and then that would be the bottom of this range here and the top of this range here. So therefore, it may drift back to 18, and if it is, you're a buyer. And if it drops back to 16, you're a buyer. Don't commit all your money, but at each stage, I'd be buying. If I were buying Bitcoin right now, I would be buying here. I would be buying at 18, and I would be a buyer in the 16s, and then to wait for volatility to dry up again, knowing that the market is bullishly biased in a low liquidity environment because it's already been proven to be. Because the thing is here, when you go back over this big freaking chart and you go all the way back to the breakdown from 68,000, almost every time there's one of these major freaking down bars, it's because a major crypto exchange exploded or imploded, and therefore there was a loss of liquidity. There was a panic, and the sell side was overwhelmed. You got to realize that the Fed is killing the stable coins one by one by one, because stable coins are just euro dollars, and we'll get into that in a minute. So that's my technical read on it. If that's the setup for what we're going to talk about for the rest of this, the rest of the talk. Rich, what have you got? I'm going to stop sharing.
No, thank you. And I'm going to put the first part of this video on YouTube, and the rest of it, the conversation is going to be on bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey. Okay, so you tweeted out something about it happening. We've had the collapse of Silvergate Bank, which was an on-ramp, off-ramp crypto for crypto.